right, well, got the work session to go on discussing the draft Juvenile Corrections Advisory Board framework. So we'll just go ahead and begin with, we want to have Mark start.
Commissioners, you know, we started this process a couple of months ago. Misty has been working on how the whole process will work and the timeline. She has put together the term sheet that you have in front of you, and want to just verify a few things in here, and if the board has any other direction they wanted to include in here before we actually put the resolution in front of you for your approval that would form the Juvenile Advisory. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Misty.
All right. Thank you, Commissioners. So the term sheet sets out the terms of the framework of a potential new JCAB. There is room for some tweaks in it if that's what the Commission would like to do. As Mark had stated, you know, we had set this in motion maybe last month, where in the past we had participated in a joint JCAB. It was the decision that was no longer the efficient and best way to provide juvenile services in Leavenworth County. So by statute, we need to form our own JCAB if we're going to separate from that, and we've already advised that we are. And so this is a potential framework to look at. By statute, we have to have 12 members of the JCAB, and it is somewhat specific on how we have to go about doing it. Some things we can't change, and I don't think there's a desire to change, but there are some. I've seen other JCAB resolutions where they'd specify the representative for this education might be someone from a specific school. And so those are ways that you could change it, or right now this framework is basically what's set out in statute that we have to follow. So the steps would be, if everyone is okay with this framework, a resolution would come forward, or something that could be tweaked. We'd come forward with a resolution to form the JCAB, and then there would be certain appointments that this commission would have to make in order to build a JCAB. Jamie, is there anything, you live it and breathe it, that you'd like to add?
The quorum being a minimum of 8. I know on our adult board we tweaked that because sometimes it's hard to get 8 people. So I know for the adult side, our bylaws state just a majority of the voting members that are present at the meeting, especially if it is our yearly grants and we need to get them passed on a deadline. So that's the only concern I had, was just sometimes if it's 8 people and 2 of the commissioners are on my JCAB, you guys are at a meeting, or people are in trial for the judges and defense, sometimes can be difficult.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I understand that.
I mean, you know why we're at this level, right? Why we're reaching this. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's, you know.
I've heard the tapes.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen it.
The main thing is keep Leavenworth County money in Leavenworth County.
That's what we're doing. You're right.
Okay. I don't have any questions.
I don't have anything.
Anybody have anything? Any questions, concerns, comments? Otherwise, so are we direction to move forward with a resolution? Is that the consensus of the board?
It's for me.
And with the potential change, just
Yeah.
to say that what we would
8.
consider to be a quorum,
A majority of the
majority of
right.
those.
I think that's all I need for
I was
direction.
going to say, if legal counsel and director and administrator approve, I don't have any problem with it.
I just have one question. Does the board itself determine what they're going to use for parliamentary procedure, like if they're going to follow Robert's Rules of Order, or do they kind of set their own policy for that?
Yes, Commissioner, I think that's a good point. The board, once it forms, can adopt their own bylaws and determine how they're going to move forward.
And we've reached out and had conversations and have kind of reassured the courts and the administrative judge for the judicial district that we've had all the conversations and this has kind of been ironed out. And I'm just making sure that we don't get hit with some kind of a...
Well, I think that what you have in front of you that will then result in a resolution follows the state statute as far as appointments go. The board of County Commissioners has 3 appointments on this committee. The rest of them pretty much are statutorily outlined on how they're going to be. The city of Leavenworth gets 3, and then the rest are pretty much right down the line with the state statutes. So as far as that goes, once we get the resolution and you approve the resolution, then we'll be asking you to appoint your designated representatives to that. We'll notify then the city of Leavenworth, the courts who that they need to appoint someone.
And that's why it's so important to have 8 too, because in case someone doesn't or they don't turn out, you can still carry on your business.
Okay. Well, I think that
Got direction?
we've got direction.
Well, and I just to say this is really important what you're doing, and
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
appreciate everything you're doing. Thanks.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, see, that was painless, wasn't it?
Right. And just so we're clear, in the future, our prevention grants, we could apply for funding for Big Brothers and Big Sisters. There are other agencies that do that. We just obviously don't have the capacity to operate those services, but community groups can apply for prevention, non-matching grants,
Right.
or dollar match grants.
And I encourage you to do that whenever it's appropriate for your population, your juvenile population. I don't know about the rest of you, but I mean, I just kind of
Yeah.
think
There
that
are-
we can.
Whatever you can get.
Yeah, if those
Yeah,
groups,
reach.
anyone who would apply to be on the board of, like the JCAP board, if you know they're involved in community groups like Big Brothers and Sisters, and they need information about grants, like they would be, a potentially great member, and then they would obviously get firsthand knowledge of when our grants come out, and they can plan for those budgets to maintain those programs.
Good.
Y'all ever notice that some of our department heads and stuff like that in the last few years, not that the rest of them before that, but we've really hired some good people. And this is a good example right there of the people that are wanting to decide to work for the county. Take our attorney now. She puts up with me back there when I have those ridiculous questions. Take care of Amy there, John. All these. So I'm just very pleased with the way the county's going overall as far as bringing on talent to help lead this or give us good advice. So
Hire
thank
good
you.
people and leave them alone, let them do their
Stay
job.
out of their way.
Let commissioners don't micromanage.
That's right. Wonderful things happen down
That's
there.
right.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Jamie. I think we're.
Thank you for recognizing the department heads and the quality of department directors that we have and other employees. Appreciate that.
Doesn't go unnoticed, believe me.
No.
Okay, we good, Madam
We're
Chair?
good. I think we're
Okay.
good. Have your orders. We're adjourned.